Okay, today's the day to start trying to piece these septic pipes back together. And I'm getting ready to go into the trailer to measure my distances to see how much of a drop I'm going to need. So they did go from left to right, and here they've got to go from right to left. So I'm going to go measure over here. Okay, so this comes down from the spare bathroom on the right side of the trailer. And we got pending plans to run that straight down the middle of the I-beams down to where we need to pull in the other lines. So I'm gonna just temporarily lay the pipe on the ground the way we're gonna need it, and then figure out what connections we need. Okay, so I got the first pipe laid, and we'll get the other ones right after them in succession. Okay, I don't know if you can see that or not. I've just temporarily got the pipe laying on the ground. It'll be 3-inch pipe coming all the way down to here. And still don't know if we can connect the black to the white. We're still checking on that. So this is the original piping we cut. It's, let's see here, it's ABS Schedule 40 Codex Cellular Core, DWV, and most of it cannot be reused because it was only supported every 8 feet and it's supposed to be supported every 4 feet. And what happened is it bowed. So most of it's bowed more than 1/8 of an inch. So I'm gonna have to buy all new. Okay, I'm getting ready to cut this out so I can raise this pipe up a little more. And I marked it with white paint right here. Right here. And I measured it both on the pipe and here, and it looks like I need about 3/4 of an inch. I mean 1 1/4 inch. So I measured 1 1/4 from this lip down to this dotted line. So that's where I'm going to cut the dotted line. And I'm just using a sawzall right here. Got a diagonal blade that's 9 inches, and I think it's 10 to 14 teeth per inch. It's a combination wood metal blade. It's cutting pretty easy. I'll let you see some of it. Okay, I'm a little bit below the dotted line here, but pretty right on. It's kind of hard to do because there's not much room underneath here and I can't sit up. So I just had to do it all on my back. Now, I was reading on this pipe here, it does say PVC white / ABS black. So I think we can, and it's a DWV, so I think we can mix these black and white. I'm going to see how this fits. Okay, it fits on there really tight. I can push it up a little bit more. So that's going to work. Okay, when I was smoothing out the pipe, I found some ridges here. That's what was making it so hard to get up. So I've smoothed them off as best I can. And now the pipe fits up there pretty smooth. It should be loose like that. So, but it's still snug, so that should work. I felt up inside the pipe, and the black pipe goes to about here, so could have cut the black pipe a little bit longer, but I think this will work. I've got 4 or 5 pieces of 10-foot pipe now that I gotta put on here, and I'm gonna check. Just make sure that I got an easy fit here. Yeah, and that fits on nice. So, I've got these straps here. I'm gonna put up a strap on this beam to hold the pipe up for me. I'll put a strap down on the other end too at the next beam. These cross beams are between the I-beams and they're about 8 foot apart. Okay, I made a makeshift plumb line and I've got it going to the end of the board there, and it just happens to be the end of the board here, so I can use the wood and the plumb line to keep my pipe straight all the way down, and I don't have to remeasure. Okay, I got the pipe hanging. I'm not worried about the slope right now. I just want it pretty much head on so I can try to slip it in here. Now, I'm just dry fitting it, and let me see if I can put this pipe in there. Okay, it seems going okay. I think once I glue the adapter first and it gets snug, it'll go in fine. Now it came out of the hanger on the end, but you can see down there. So I'll go ahead and try to line up. I think it's 3 or 4 more 10-foot pieces like this. I had to put a cement block under this first fitting and a wedge just because it fell off a little bit later when I was down here. And that should help secure it when I push the next pipe on. Okay, there's a 3/4 inch lip here too on these cross beams, so I can buy the support system I was looking at. I'll show you that later. Okay, I've got the piping down from the spare bedroom to the water inlet here. As you can see, it's just dry fitted. I think it took about 5 pipes. And I put a little bit more blocking there, so when I push against it, it's a little bit more solid. Here's what it looks like. If you look all the way down there, probably hard to see. I'll go down to the other end and look this way. So there's not much distance left. We're almost at the end of the mobile home. Here's what it looks like from this end. It's gonna be a challenge to get those pipes trued up. So for slope, I'm measuring from the beam. These cross beams are 8 feet apart, so I'm doing an inch drop between them. Now the water inlet is just behind that pier there, and I'll have to cut this last pipe. There's also the kitchen sink is draining over there, so I have to cut that in. And then these pipes here are the master bathroom, which they're gonna have to get cut off and rerouted, and they'll come into this main stem. When I got down to here, the ground was 1.5 inches too high for the slope. So right in here, I'm gonna have to get under this plastic and dig the dirt out. I need some clearance on the dirt under the plastic in this 1/16-foot section, so I've propped up the plastic with a board here and a board here at the straps, and then I've got 2 smaller boards holding up the plastic here, and I got my light back in there in my hole, so I'm gonna try to dig out this dirt little by little. I've got 1 small section clearance, so I just keep working my way down. So when the tractor trailer came in, the wheels and the hydraulic lift, when they were using it to get everything straight, pushed a lot of dirt and made a trench. So they had the plastic laid down, so right away after that, so there was no way to fix that. But this pipe, fortunately, is only 3 feet from the I-beam on this side, so I am able to reach it with my hoe. This is the second load of dirt I pulled out, so little by little I'll get it. Okay, I turned this board the other way, so that lifts things up a little bit more. And can see better, so that'll help. Oakwood setup manual seems to indicate that these pipes need support every 4 feet. I think I figured it out. So they call these the cross beams going between the I-beams, and they say you can run a 1x3 between them, the length of the pipe. That would be a 10-foot board. I think that board might sway too much, but I was thinking I could run a board between the I-beams and set it on the lip here. So either way, I'll probably be using a board, and they call the belly the bottom board in the instructions. But I'm gonna get some supplies from supplyhouse.com, and I'm down here under the trailer figuring out how many I need, and I'll show you those parts later. The instructions also said you need to support the pipe within 24 inches of a bend. So I'll have to figure out if I need one here. Okay, I roughly measured it. I don't think I do. I think this cross member is 24 inches from the band here. So I'm gonna count how many I need of everything. Okay, I got my order figured out. I'll show you that to you in just a minute. I'm gonna be gluing this soon, and I want to run a line of string down it to be sure it's true. So I'm gonna measure from the I-beam to the pipe here at the beginning. I'm gonna put it in on the opposite side that I'll be gluing. I've got a makeshift plumb line hanging from the I-beam, And I'm just going to put a mark of spray paint here. Okay, it's not very precise, but it will help me get in the ballpark. I'm going to do the same thing next to the pipe. I never checked this pipe to be at a 45 and parallel to the I-beam. I just kind of eyed it. I'll go ahead and go down to the end and do the same distance I've got here. I had a tape measure break on me. It wouldn't roll back up, so I'm making use of it. So one of these, this bottom one here was a 4-foot I cut to help me put the 4-foot supports up, and it helped me figure out how many parts to order. And then the top one I just got done using, that's the measurement from the I-beam to the pipe. Now I'm going to run a line using a couple of these stakes from the beginning to the outlet here. This is where the pipes will exit, and they'll go over here, over there to the septic in the other field. Over here by the outlet side, I marked the cardboard here where the pipe should rest against. That's what I'll use for my string line adjustment. Okay, I've got the string run, and I positioned it just a 1/4 inch offset from the pipe, so when I assemble it, it's not going to be touching the pipe. Okay, you may not be able to see it, but I can see now that this piece here has to go that way a little bit. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with that. I got the string, if you look straight down from the top, string's about a 1/4 inch away from the side of the pipe. Also, I've got my string somewhat going with the slope. Now when the pipe gets to the end here, it's going to be pretty much right on the ground, so I've got this pipe holding the string down to the ground, and we're right at the exit. Now that I've got the string laid, I can start disassembling the pipe, but before I do that, I'm going to mark it so I get it in the same spot when I glue it. Now this is the real critical one, so I'm going to mark it 2 times here and 2 times on the other side. On these pipes, I just have to mark where it stops entering the pipe. I've got a black line there. This one has a lip that stops it, so I don't have to mark that. I'm just using a Craftsman white paint pen and a fine tip Sharpie. Now this is the first coupler. I'm just coming down from the beginning, and I'm just gonna mark it. Now I may have not gotten these pipes inserted all the way, so I'm marking them so I can see. And also when you put glue on it, they're going to insert further. So once I take these apart, I'll probably put a proper mark on them that I can go by for inserting. I just want to see how deep I got them. So I'll mark the rest of these, and then I'll start taking them apart. The local county code allows for this green transition cement, which I'm going to use to put this first fitting onto this black outlet pipe, which is ABS. Before I put the green transition cement on, I'm going to glue this end cap clean out part. And I'm just going to clean this with alcohol. And dry it. Now I'm just going to use the regular primer on this because it's white to white. I'm just doing per instructions. I'm just holding 30 seconds. This end cap, I'll snug that up once I have everything all glued together later. Okay, now I'm going to clean these joints. And dry them. Now I'll put them together with the green cement per instructions on the can. Okay, I've put my block back under there, and I've put another block on the left because I'm going to be pushing against this. So now I'm ready to put on my first 10-foot pipe. So I'll clean it and prep it like I did the others. Okay, I got that on. Now I'm going to go down to the end of this 10-foot pipe. And I'll put my coupler on. Now, I forgot I was going to let that first piece I put on dry 15 minutes. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to put couplers on the far end of the 10-foot pipes. Okay, I've got the couplers all glued to the end of the next 3 pipes I'm putting on, 10-footers. And what I did is I just put them against one of the cement blocks and then glued the other end, and then I was able to push against the cement block and hold it, just hold it in place. Didn't really need a hammer or anything. Once you get the glue on there, it slips in good. I'll show you how I did it on this one. So when I push on this pipe, it's going to go against that cement down there. And it has been 15 minutes. So I'll show you how I did it. Okay, I got that glued on there, and I'll let that dry probably for 15 minutes. And then I got the 10-foot pipe cleaned. I'm going to put on that, and I'll show you doing that. Okay, I've waited 15 minutes. So on this 10-foot pipe I've got, it's on a hanger on the other end, so it swings. So I think once I put the glue on, I'll be able to slide it in. I am going to make a mark right here to approximate depth it should go in, so I know when I'm pretty close. Okay, that went on okay, I think, and I'll wait 15 minutes and then I'll continue until I get a couple more of these 10-foot pipes on. Make sure your string is not obstructed, and when you glue these pipes that they're lining up with your string. Okay, so I got 4 pieces of 10-foot pipe on. And then this is where it's got to start bringing in our Ys. And it's 5 o'clock. It's been a full day. I did do an experiment. I want to show you something. On the front of the house, I poured some water down the kitchen sink, trying to find out where it went. I thought it might go to the 3-inch outlet for the toilet here, but it didn't. It went into that Y going into the bucket, which we're going to be cutting off because we're going the other direction. But it's actually, I think it's a 2-inch pipe coming out of there, so that must be where all the kitchen stuff, dishwasher, washer machine drains into. This small 1.5-inch pipe that was closer is just a vent, I think. That one there behind the white pipe, pretty sure it's a vent because right straight above it on the roof is a vent. So that's good to know. So now the next drop in line that has to go into the main stem is under here. And it's this, which we got to change the direction of flow, so I've got to cut that off. Okay, this is a little harder to do than I thought. I'm working on the vent. So because it's 1.5-inch pipe, I think it can take 1/4 to 1/2-inch slope. And what I did was I cut and put black pipe in there first, except for the turns. And I had black pipe here, and I just tested it and checked the slope until I had it right. Then I went and cut these long strips, this one and that one, with the white pipe, making any adjustments I needed, and I've got it dry fitted, and I checked the slope, and it's between 1/4 and 1/2. So because it's a vent, it has to come in on the main above 45, and it can come straight from the top. So I've got it in between, coming in from the top and at an angle, at a 90-degree. And when you glue these pipes, they change a little bit. They go a little deeper a lot of times. And what I'm going to do is, I've started, I'm going to mark a couple marks on each connection and also mark how deep it goes. Like right there, right here. And this pipe doesn't matter too much because it's straight, but I'll cut another piece of white there to put in there and mark it, because the way this is twisted determines your angle. So I want to make sure and get those in the same position. So this is the first branch coming in, which is the only way to do it, because to get them all fitted, you can move this main to help you fit it. And once I get done with this branch, I'll go to the next branch. Okay, I've got everything together and the slope checked, and I've got every pipe marked. So I'll get all this glued together and all this right here. Then I'll go down here. Now I've got to glue this one first to get that in there. And I'll glue this one, and I'll glue this one here. And this will be the last one I glue. Oh, wait a second. Either this one or this one will be the last one I glue. I'm not just quite sure yet. Okay, I've glued the drop. I've glued the 3-inch. And now I'm going to glue this pipe over there to the drop. Okay, this is going to be the last one I glue. I'll go ahead and glue that one. I'll fit it one more time. Then I'll glue this. Okay, these two, I glued one right after the other. I glued this first and then this. And it fit together. It seems okay. I'm a little unsure about that other end, but I'm going to just leave it and see if it passes inspection. It definitely does take some practice. This is the first big job I've ever done. I don't know what's worse, sitting under a car working or under here working. It takes a lot of muscles crawling underneath this low trailer. So to get room for the pipe to slope correctly, I've got a technique here. I cut the plastic back, and then I've got a sled here where I'm putting dirt on it and pulling it out with a string. About 10 feet down that way, I did a spot, and it looks really good. Can't hardly tell you did it. I taped up the plastic with dark duct tape. So on this spot here, a friend of mine loaned me this trenching shovel, or this small camping shovel, in the sled. So I've just got to dig this dirt out here so this pipe can be lowered probably about 1 inch. Okay, got the dirt dug out, and my slope's pretty good now, not interfering with the dirt. So now I'm gonna start working on this drop here. This is the drop for the washing machine and the kitchen sink, and also some of the master bathroom. It's a 2-inch drop, and I got a problem with it because it's hard to see, but there's 2 sockets right together. I can cut between them, but then I won't have enough pipe to hook 2. So I've got this tool. It's called a socket saver tool. And what I'm going to do is try to drill the pipe out of the bottom of this. Okay, it does look like it's working. I'm experimenting on this bottom hub. Once I get past the hub, it should fall off, and then I'll have the upper hub to do. Okay, the bottom hub's not coming off. I'm just gonna keep drilling until I get to the top of this pipe. Okay, the tool worked pretty good. I'm probably 1/8 of an inch from the end of that pipe, but I'm just gonna stop here and play it safe, because if I go too far, I'll cut into the fitting up there. This should be enough to get a pipe up in there. My bottom hub never did fall off, but so I drilled through 2 hubs, basically. Be sure and wear goggles if you do this. Look at all the shavings that came down. Okay, I'm here at the master bathroom drop, and I've got the belly propped up with some old pipes, so I'm gonna put this coupler on. Again, I'm using the green transition cement, which glues black to white. Okay, I got it on there. That stuff dries really quick. I've got my 3/8 rod. I'm going to cut it with this grinder, and first one's going to be 8 inches, and just getting these nuts back here before the cut. I'll pull these down and make the cut. I'll keep one before the cut and one after the cut, so that I can unscrew the nut and fix any burrs. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, so let's see if this comes off.
That might be hot there, be careful.
Yeah, it's hot. Okay, see, it won't come off, so this is where I just take the pliers.
Alright.
Yeah, take the pliers.
That's...
Okay, it's good.
Alright.
I'll smooth
Awesome.
that off a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll do the same with that.
Sounds like a plan.
Because the beams going between the I-beams under the trailer are 8 feet apart, and I need to support the pipes every 4 feet. These are going to go in between those. So these are 6 foot 8 inches to go in between the I-beams. And I'll screw a support to it. Okay, these are my hangers, and I've installed one. I've put a little bit of silicone grease in the threaded part of these, and then I'm painting the whole rod here plus my nut. Even though they're galvanized and treated, they still will tend to rust. So these are the supports that go on the metal beam, and then this is the one that will be screwed to the wood. at the 4-foot mark. I just put a light coat on here. They'll probably still rust a little bit, but it will hold it off for a little time. Now I did check after I painted to make sure it would screw on easily, and after about 15 minutes of drying, I'll be able to install another one. Okay, this is the first one I've installed, and so what I did is I tightened this bolt as tight as I could with a crescent, and then this is the stop nut that you tighten. Now I put a little bit of silicone grease for that thread, and I put some right here, and a little bit for that nut. So this makes it pretty easy now. I can get a fine tune on this slope, and it gives me a good place to measure from. I just put it on the lip there. I can bring it down. I can get an exact measurement down here. Okay, again, I'm putting these particular ones every 8 feet. And the drop is 1/8 inch per foot plus 1/8 of an inch. So every 8 feet I'm dropping it 1 inch and 1/8. So I cut all these 1 inch and 1/8 longer, each one. The Clayton Homes manual again said drop anywhere between 1/8 to 1/4 per foot. And because they set the trailer so low, I don't have room to drop it 1/4 per foot, but I'll get it just a little more than 1/8 per foot. Okay, this is the second one I'm installing. I'm 8 feet down at this beam, and I've put a little silicone grease there, and a little bit here. I'm well threaded into here. I'll just put this up here. Get that on there. Then I can adjust this nut down here. Okay, once I know this is hanging right, then I can tighten that up there. So I still got this loose, and once I tighten that up there, then I can adjust this nut down here. And keep in mind, I've still got that 4-foot marker there, which will be done with a piece of wood going between the I-beams here. Okay, I'm going to come up just a little bit to go at 8 1/8, because the first one was at 7. And this is your adjusting thing. When you screw this, it'll pull it up, and then the lock nut's down here. Okay, I got this one done at 8 1/8. The next one I'll do at 9 1/4. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but I'm on about my 6th rod here, and I wanted to mention something. If you're using these clamps, you'll see that there's one that's higher than the other side. And so I'm making sure I have the higher side to the left so I can do my measurements easier. Also, you'll notice too, when you're putting in your clamps, you want to make sure you're going along the string, staying in line with it. Once you get a rod in, you just kind of stand back and look at it and make sure it's perpendicular to the ground on both sides. Okay, so I got that installed, and you have to compensate for that shorter connection there, but seems to be working okay. I did 4 of them, but I'm gonna need to go get 3 more boards and do 3 more. I got the pipe sloped right here where I'm Need to make this connection and get it sloped all the way back there. Don't have to dig any more dirt. Okay, I'm gonna glue this 10-foot pipe down there, and then I'm gonna start dry fitting and sloping this drop too now. Okay, I've got this dry fitted, and I've checked my slope from the very front all the way down, and I've checked it with this little level, and what I've noticed is as soon as that ball starts to touch the right line, that's an 1/8 inch slope, and I've got a little bit more than that on these two. I've marked everything around the pipe, and I don't know if you can see, but I've got marks about halfway around, and this is the spot that's going to be the easiest to glue last, so I'll glue all these, and then I'll put that last one on. Okay, I got that dry fitted finally. It's not exactly the way I wanted it. The slope's good here, but the slope's not the greatest there. Hopefully the inspector will pass it. I decided to try to fix this slope here, so I wouldn't have to do it later, and I finally got it to go in the right direction and had to cut the pipe in 3 places. So now I've dry fitted this next branch in. It's the toilet from the master bathroom, and got the vent attached. So what I'm going to do today is start dry fitting this top part here, and then I'll go down there and try to get the slope coming up on that pipe there, coming up right, and work on this slope. Cut some white pipe to put in there for the final gluing. I made something that helped me out. I didn't want to buy an expensive level, but what I did is I just took a small board and I marked it at 1 foot here, and so then put my level on the board above it, and I've just got it pivoting down here. Just pivots up like that. And what I can do is on my pipes, when I measure the slope, I lift this up for the slope until, and then I can measure the distance between the 2 boards right here at the 1 foot mark. So I think that's gotten me pretty close. Now to check the slope on this, I'll probably have to cut the board shorter so it fits between this base, and I can hold it right up against the bottom of it, probably, or possibly the top, and check the slope. Okay, you might need 2 people to do that. Also on my level, again, as I said before, this bubble here, when it's past the line, that's a good sign. So if I bring it down to get the bubble in the middle, I got a good 1/4 inch there. So that's pretty good. With these side branches coming in, I'm making them a good 1/4 inch, and it's 1/4 inch per foot drop. I'm using white fingernail polish here to mark the black pipes. It's a little easier than the white pen. I'm just curious to see if I got it pushed up there far enough when I take this apart. I'm going to measure from this hub to this hub, and I'm going to subtract 1/8 of an inch on each side, and that should give me leeway with pressing the pipe in. This is just a vent, so slope is not that critical on this. I'll do the same here. I'll measure up in there down to about here. Now this one I can get the full length, because I'll be able to push that in all the way. And this bottom one I'm not going to glue yet, because don't have the slope checked over there. Okay, that was barely on, so I'm gonna have to push that up on there a little bit deeper, and that means I'll have to make that pipe there just a little bit longer. So when I glue this, I've got to glue this in first. This will be the last push up right here. I can check the slope on a dry fit once I get these glued. Another thing that's been helping me is I take this out, put it on a paper towel, and I wipe the connection here. As soon as I've got it wiped and it's still a little bit wet, they go together really nice for the dry fit. I've also been using this sanding sponge more than the file. It seems to do a good job by itself. Okay, I've got my white pipe in here. Gonna have to use the green transition cement for that connection. And I've got everything marked. And my slope's pretty good, so I'm gonna pull this apart and glue it. Okay, on this one, I waited 15 minutes after I glued this because there's so much pressure against here. And I got this backwards. This needs to be coming in from the side. I'm going to take this pipe off again and try and see if I can line up the marks before I glue it and check the slope again. Okay, I've refitted it, remarked it. I got a little problem because that pipe coming out of the belly is slanted. So I put a circle all the way around here. I'm going to match my circle all the way around. Okay, I glued these two joints at the same time and checked my slope before it dried. Everything looks good. I'll go down there at the main and try to get that slope right. Okay, it's raining outside, but I'm underneath here, staying dry. The dirt is too high here in about 3 spots, so I'm going to cut the plastic back and take some of this dirt out so that it's not touching the pipe. Okay, I got that pretty dug out, and for the next branch coming in, I may have to dig a little bit more for the very last branch. But this is good for drop 3, so I'll lay this plastic back down and try to get my slope right again. By the way, it was quite a bit of dirt I dug out of there. It's just they had so much trouble getting this mobile home backed in. They really trenched up the dirt with the wheels. But I'm still pretty level with the foundation bricks. The rain let up, so it's a fairly cool day to work. I was going to show you the septic field. I've been keeping it mowed. Right over there is the spot where he's going to dig from. I've let him know that I'm ready. I haven't heard from him. But, I mean, he said he would come, but I don't know when. But once I get this last 2 drops done, I'll definitely try to contact him again. Been seeing a lot of bunny rabbits and groundhogs. There's a lot of cardinals around too. It'll be in the 70s today. Real nice day to work. I'm thankful I'm getting this done before the hot weather gets here. Okay, I've got all my white pipe in, and I used alcohol to get these joints tight. They're dry fitted, and I've used pink fingernail polish this time because my markers get erased by the glue. So I've marked everything, and so now I'm gonna just start gluing it together. I got boards underneath and got the slope right at about 1/4 inch. So this joint right there on the right will be my second to last glue, and then this one right here will be my last glue. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that together. Okay, I got it done. I just glued from the left to the right, piece by piece, checking my slope. It's about 6 o'clock. I'm gonna quit for the day and start it tomorrow on that last drop. Okay, I've got this last drop dry fitted properly, but up here where it comes out of the belly, it's really loose, and I've got it supported by a pipe. And what I need to do before I glue this is I've got this board that I painted. I'm gonna run it from this beam to that beam and hold it with some clamps. If you notice, I had to notch it out here. Also had to notch it out on the other end. I'm about ready to glue the 4th drop. I've checked my slope from the 2nd drop and on to the 3rd drop. And I've got 3 more hangers in place. I put a hanger on the 4th drop there and the pipe going out. And I've got my hanger installed on the 3rd drop. Everything looks good. I've marked everything with pink fingernail polish, all my joints. So I'm going to start gluing right here. As I glue, I'm going to check the slope of each pipe. Okay, I've glued the main and kept that in the hanger. Got the slope right, and then I glued this first one and the slope is right. Now on this next attachment right here, I'm gonna go ahead and glue this side, and then when I glue this on, I'm gonna check the slope on this. It's been raining a couple days, very wet outside, but I've been able to continue gluing this. It's been really sloppy and muddy. But I got this next pipe glued and sloped. So now I'm gonna work on this section here. I think what I'll do is glue these pipes up here, and then I'll be able to just push that one on. So I'm gonna glue these 2 connections. Now I have been letting some of these connections dry for 15 minutes, especially the ones with a lot of pressure. For instance, this last one I glued, I let that dry, and that particular one there I let dry for 15 minutes. Okay, now I'll glue these 2 pieces together. Once I do that, I can glue that top and this connection here, and I've been double checking the slope with it dry fitted again, and everything seems like it's gonna work. Okay, I got it all glued, and my slope seems right. So this was my last connection because this here is movable and it was flexible. So that's the last drop. So that looks pretty nice, and I sure hope it passes. Now this last pipe I'm gonna wait. The septic guy will be coming hopefully in the next month, and he'll dig a trench from the septic over there. It's June 20th, so I think I started this around April. Been taking a long time. But when the septic guy comes, I'll try to get a picture of that.